Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We are from sixth group and we will explain about curriculum and material development. Before we start our presentation, let me introduce my group. My name is Dian as moderator and presenter. Next is Indah Kania Permatahati as presenter, Rina Nuriah as presenter, and then Syifa Wulan as presenter. Okay, let's begin our presentation with the first presenter is Indah Kania. Indah Kania, time is yours.
Okay, the first is I will tell about introduction. The introduction is the chapter looks at the process of materials writing from the writer's perspective. It used two snapshots, one taken in 1994 and one taken 15 years later. Oxford in April for a British Council specialist course with UK-based writers and publishers. The personal account of the writing process, which make up the first and longer part of this chapter, are taken from questionnaires and correspondence with course participants and tutors and their friends. Giri, Simon, Grenal, Samsul, Hoki, Marina, Lanio Patoni, Lunch, Peter May, asked to read the chapter and to reflect on their own practice. Harmer, Sue, K, P, the reflection from the second part of this chapter. Okay, next slide is a writer's perspective in 1994. Most of the contributions have written at some times or always as a member of a team. Their account of collaborative writing highlight the importance of team building, as well as divergence in working practice. Writing teams are often put together by publishers and considerable getting to know you needs to take place before writing can start. Writing together means what it says, sitting down at the table together, and we meet for a whole evening at the time and are very strict with ourselves. The mode of working we've agreed on is the following. The first is during a first workshop, the group decide on topics, functions, skill, focus, treatment of grammar, vocabulary, format, and a unit and a lesson. And the second is then units are allocated to each member. The third is writers go back to their hometown and devise unit accordingly. The third is they send them to the project coordination for checking. The consultant get them for suggestion as well. And the last is in about 3 months, the group meets again with the project coordinator and the consultant, and a common agreement for all listen is obtained. Next. The next is the creative process. The process begins as I check the course design requirements for the lesson to be written, and then I begin a fairly lengthy process of deciding in which authentic context the target structures or vocabulary are likely to be heard or read. When I have thought about this, I look for input text which will be used as either listening or reading material in the list. They may involve rereading a lot of old newspaper, going to the library, or just going through the bookshelf in my study. Maybe that's all from me. I bring it back to the moderator.
Okay, thanks for Indah. And the next material will be explained by Syifa Wulan. Syifa Wulan, time is yours.
Okay, I will explain about working with published art. Major course books or tests they are usually communicated by published writer, such as by author, and the account will reflect not untypically right missing. Of course, are the analyst meeting and discourse discussing the four accounts commissioned and the prostudious process. Outcome as it is to travel and their series. The, wait a minute. The first is in India stage. B is meanwhile. C first draft. D second draft. E third draft. F finally. Next is design and illustrator. While a number of the contributors complain of lack of involvement with design of their book, the account which fall actually reclaim the curriculum award of the importance of design. Uh, my maxim illustration, many one illustration can either read or draw. So either cease read or else be careful and take care to observe it in order to consider a boring British illustration that you 7 years old could have done, or she's produced a wonderful illustration that will really draw your learning in make the pastry and activity, but the learners won't be able to do the corresponding exercise because some of the elements of the illustration are wrong or missing. And while the two problems referred to above the happening sometimes are not common, it is axiomal in publishing that design and illustration can make or break a book. This has resulted in course books which look more like glossy magazine and teaching materials. It would be interesting to compare the accessible or learned from different cultures today have designed full color outbooks. And next is uh, technology. The 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 first of contributes below raises the question of the X program through technology. I read on the Apple Mac, which enjoy and fortune that my course use based some word processing program simple to exchange text, submit of text on disk as well as proper was the norm by 1994, rather than the explained incorrectly publisher deserve to set text from this and elimination error from can means that the this have to submit without any of the wonderful feature of design and layout which modern word processing technique allow. The first of the contributes below raises and question explain progress of technology. I read on Michael an Apple Match, which I enjoy, and I fortunately that my Kania use the same word processing program. So it's a simple change disk. How how write written caption table, but more often community by font, post and text. And now my written and my simply used now. So there is increasing pressure from all units. So certainly frequent specifically obey to transitive material from screen to screen while the lines are processing. Okay, thank you. I bring back to moderator.
Okay, thanks for Syifa. And the next material will be explained by me. The next material is a time and a place to write. Another essentially divergent set of views, this time on when and where to write. Every person have a different time and different place to write. For example, the writers. The writers write mostly at night. The writers prepare that time as it is comparatively quieter here and the writers can concentrate more. The writers write in the family study room at the writer's place to write, and the writers write when the writer's children go to bed. The writers come and work at the writer's table. The writers do the writer's best creativity writing in the morning and mid afternoon. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide is conclusion. The process of material writing syllabus, ideas, and procedures. Then there is a publisher's view of writers, the teacher's view of material, and learner's perception of the whole process. Okay, enough for me. The next material will be explained by Rina. Rina, times is yours.
Okay, thank you for moderator. The last material is reflection 15 years later. The first, the influence of the market. The original chapter note as a relatively new development the fact that for most UK publishers, the influence of the marketing team over almost every aspect of material production is now paramount. The second is the ELT, writer and technology. A direct implication of the ability of writer to use concordance and the World Wide Web as a source for text is vastly improved access to authentic text. The third is using the internet. The World Wide Web is a rich source of knowledge for writer as well as information on every topic imaginable. Next slide. The fourth is writing together. In these two contributions, Suke and Jeb's strength reflect how co-authors work together, coming to differing conclusions about being in the same room. And the last is the creative process. What is suggested here is a tech-driven approach, one that is learner-centered and work in a converse fashion, in that it starts with text and derive the language feature to be studied from this. Okay, that's enough for me. I bring back to moderator.
Okay, thanks for Rina. Okay, class. At the end of our presentation, enough for our presentation. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.